listen to this. They had me in the hospital and I wasn't able to bathe for the whole week and a half I was there because the lady was too doggone lazy to put me in the wheelchair and take me to the bathroom so I can get me a good old shower. I had to baby wipe that thing. You hear? Hey, so this is gonna be different than the average video. Since it's August, I'm gonna do a story about how I got gastroparesis and how did I overcome it and the hurdles and everything else that went along with it. So I hope you enjoy it, and I have my notes right here, so if you see me looking over to the left, that's what I'm doing. Hope you enjoy it. So where do I begin with this story? So I'm probably gonna begin around 2018 in July. I was with my wife at the time and we went to go eat some cookout and took a bite of a burger. You know, just normal stuff, eating a burger, and then all of a sudden when they hit my stomach, it's a totally different ball game. You know, started dry heaving. She was freaking out, didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I started shaking really bad, and I ended up having to go to the hospital. And all they told me was, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, just take some Zofran and it'll be all right." You know, to send me back to work. And I was in the military at the time, so I couldn't take off work for it. So yeah, a few months go by without any symptoms. And it hits November 2018. Me and my wife are now just about divorced now, and basically she didn't like my health issues and I had a lot going on mentally. I had to go to therapy because, you know, being a verbally and abusive relationship, couldn't really take it no more, so I had to go to therapy, and she didn't really like that too much. But anyway, that's a different story. So as I was in therapy, my stomach started to get worse, and man, it seemed like the more I tried to eat, the more my stomach hurt. And the more my stomach hurt, the reverse happened, the less I tried to eat. And you know what happens when you don't eat? You lose weight. So basically, once I started losing weight and stuff like that, it was hard for me to work, and my job was noticing, because I literally just moved from Virginia to to New Mexico. From Virginia to New Mexico to be with my now ex, and then she left me because of issues I was having that she was causing. But you know how some people do, they like to play the victim. But anyways, I digress. So when she left, I went to therapy, and when I came out of therapy, I thought everything was gonna be fine until these stomach issues started happening. So, you know, first day of work, you know, I'm having the stomach issues, but I don't really tell anybody. And it's just too much. I'm starting to lose the cafeteria setting on the military base. I'm starting to lose all this weight. It's hard for me to move around. My job is starting to notice. They thinking I'm probably anorexic or something. You know, they tell me to go to the doctor, get it checked out. Telling me to go back to mental health, it's all in your head, blah, 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 blasey, blasey. You know, normal stuff that the military tells you to do. So I do that. I'm going to therapy like I'm supposed to for issues I had with the previous marriage, and plus now these new issues that came up with my stomach, which they prospectively think is in my head, but it's not. I'll get to that in a second. So I tell them it's not in my head, and I keep having to go to the doctor days later and days later, and days turn into months, and months turn into now years. But yeah, let's keep on the story here. So Now it's getting to December, January time frame, right? 2019. And here's the thing. When you go from 160 to 120, people start to notice. And people talking too. Oh, Sergeant Walker's anorexic. Oh, Sergeant Walker's this, Sergeant Walker's that. And I'm sitting here listening to all this gossip going around the unit. So I have to take it. I know it's not true, but I just have to take it. Because I don't have the energy to. I don't have the energy. I didn't have the energy literally to sit there and try to stand up for myself. I had my own stuff to worry about instead of worrying about gossip. But, you know, the first sergeant was coming to me saying, you just got to the unit and your performance sucks, this, that, and the other. I had facility managers come to me. Had supervisors come to me say the same thing. And it was rough. It was rough. And I hate the stigma of work come before health instead of the other way around. And it's like that in the corporate world, even outside the military, and it sucks. And I know y'all probably have to deal with that. And hopefully y'all get the help y'all need, if that makes sense. And I pray that y'all have some type of recovery, at least be stable enough for y'all to eat something so y'all be able to get through life. Because I know exactly how that feels, not having support, work beating down on you. You know, it's all. So finally, after I go to the doctor plenty of times, and the unit at least backs off a little bit because they see I'm going to the doctor and actually getting checked out. Basically, I went to, and that's my Facebook going off. Basically, had to go get 3 exams done: a scope, EGD, a doggone esophageal manometry, which was absolute hell, and the test where you have to eat eggs and toast, I believe, that had radioactive trap in. Oh, there it is, the gastroemptying study. And it was weird because I had to actually go in the emergency room. Ooh. I had to go to the emergency room, and then they put me in inpatient before they did the EGD because they saw I lost so much weight and I only can hold down crackers and doggone water because my stomach had gotten so bad. So, and you know, my unit was, you know, saving face, you know, coming to see me. They acting like they cared, but deep down they probably thinking in their mind, oh, we're losing the body, you know, he's not working this, that, and the other. I know how it goes. When you get up there in those ranks, you know exactly how it goes. If you're military on this Gastroparesis support group, go ahead and comment down below. Because, man, it was a journey, I'll tell you. So basically what they did was, again, put me in the emergency room. I'm backing up a little bit. Put me in the emergency room. Then they put me in the inpatient ward for a few days. And then during those few day time period where they just trying to see what's going on with me and everything, they did the EGD, and I was freaking out about that. I never had a tube shoved down my throat like that in my life. I'm glad they put me out for that because I wouldn't know what I've done. But anyways, it's like once they got that done, they just said, oh, you got inflammation in the stomach. Okay. Okay. There's nothing else wrong with you. Here we go again. And so now I gotta go back to work. I'm struggling at this point. I'm so weak, I'm walking with a cane at 23. You hear me? 23. And that's rough. That is rough. So it's like, man, it made me have to reevaluate my life to see, I almost had some regrets, if that makes sense. Like what I could have done better. Did I serve my God like I was supposed to? You know, did I do my job while I was in the military before I got sick? You know, things like this were going in my head. Like, as I was going through this trial and tribulation. But anyway, going back to the story. So now, since they still don't know what's wrong with me at this point, they put me at a desk job finally after they see me on a doggone cane. Man. And I can't, you know, chop up vegetables and run around the kitchen and doggone run around with my chicken like a chicken with my head cut off, you know, serving 300 plus people, you know, trying to be a supervisor, you know, supervising 3-4 troops. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was hard. So they put me at a desk job and I didn't have to worry about that until they figured out what was wrong with me. So, okay. So we fast forward to April 2019. And this is when I get the esophageal manometry done. So this is the worst test I have ever done in my entire life right here. This one. It's this one and the bone marrow biopsy. That was pretty bad too. But anyways, if y'all never did that before, I'll tell you exactly how it feels. So they take a needle, not a needle. They take a Q-tip. They shove it up your nose a little bit to see how far it is before you, not gag, but before it hurts. And then they take it back out, and then they put some lidocaine in there, and then they stick it a little bit further and see if it works. And if you don't feel it, you're good to go. And make sure before, make sure before you go get this test done that you don't eat anything the night before. If not, you're gonna throw everything up because this test is bad. So when you get in there, like I said before, happens, and then after that, they just go ahead. But then after that, they just go ahead and start shoving it in. They shove it in just right there at your sinuses, and then they make you start drinking water. You start drinking water, they shove it down your throat. Yeah, you just want to throw that thing right back up. And it's right, since I'm pretty tall, I'm 6 feet, so it was like 42, 43 centimeters before it hit my stomach. Yeah, it was pretty long. But yeah, they checking to see your pH level. They checking to see how your esophagus working and everything. That's why it's called esophageal manometry. They just trying to see if all that works. Luckily, I didn't have to get that 24-hour test afterwards. Praise the Lord on that. Because that would have been harder because I couldn't talk. I couldn't. So after I got the manometry done, I got the gastric emptying study done. So, you know, if you never did the gastric emptying study, that's basically a test where you go in, they give you some eggs and toast with jelly that has radioactive material in it, and you have to eat every single bite regardless of how you feel. If you throw it up, they make you wait, I think, like an hour or so. You gotta eat it again. Luckily, I didn't throw up, so I didn't have to go through that. So once I ate it, it was a 4-hour test. So wait like 30 minutes to an hour. You go in there, take the X-ray, come out. Do it again like 2 or 3 more times each hour until 4 hours hit. Then afterwards, that's it. You can go back home or go back to work or wherever you're doing. So after that, got that done. Had to wait like a week or so for the esophageal manometry results and the gastric emptying study results. So let me look at my notes here real quick. All right. So now it's April 18th of 2019. I go in there. I still remember like it was just about yesterday. I go in there and the doctor told me, well, I asked the doctor first. Hey, Dr. So-and-so, any good news? He said, no, you have gastroparesis. He just threw it out there. Obviously, he closed the door for privacy and stuff, but he just threw it out there. And he counseled me for about an hour on it. Because I was in my uniform. I still had to go back to work. So, yeah, pretty hard. Just thinking about me having to change my whole diet and me not being able to eat certain things anymore. Can't eat beef, can't eat shrimp because it makes my stomach hurt so bad. Can't eat certain types of pork. Can't eat it's a lot of things I can't eat. I can't think off the top of my head right now. Oh yeah, main thing is corn. I'll make my stomach hurt really bad. It's rough. And after that appointment, I just sat there and just thought about life. Thought about what next. You know, I know some of y'all going through that right now. Just got diagnosed with gastroparesis. And again, it's hard, but it's not the end of the world. Just think about what can you do to help others get through this situation. That's my mindset now, but at the time it wasn't. Because going through it, it's like, man, why me? Why me? Why me? But now, not exactly on the other side of it, but being able to manage it, now you can be able to help others. So now, basically, a few months go by after I get the initial diagnosis, and I'm starting to at least manage my gastroparesis to the point where I can eat a little bit of food in a way I can get off the cane and not having to park illegally in the doggone handicapped parking spaces, and you know what I mean. And yeah, 4 or 5 months go by and I hit another stumbling block. My leg starts to swell up. Listen to me. I almost lost my mind. You hear me? I almost lost my mind. Another doggone stumbling block, and I just got gastroparesis. Are you kidding me? Like, man, y'all just don't know how hot I was. Like, I wanted to punch somebody. That's how mad I was. My leg was so doggone swollen. It's a shame. Out of nowhere. And I had to go to the emergency room a few times for that. Had to miss out on a lot of work for that. You know what I mean? Then they finally want to send me down to San Antonio, Texas, because they didn't have no doctors in New Mexico. It was pretty crappy. Healthcare system out there in New Mexico is crappy, so make sure you have a means of transportation to go out places if you plan on living in New Mexico. Or just make sure you try your best to be healthy if you can help it. Okay? Now that I got that out the way, let's get back to the story. So now I'm going to San Antonio. I have to doggone see another doctor and with another opinion, because mind you, they found other health issues on top of gastroparesis. Example, rheumatoid arthritis, which I'm like, man, now I gotta see. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. Rheumatoid arthritis on top of gastroparesis, but they didn't know how to manage it because the medicines at first were, making my stomach worse, so they couldn't do nothing about it. So basically, I just had to suffer. So now, since I'm getting a second opinion, second in San Antonio with everybody, I got to go through all the tests again. The manometry, the doggone, the bone marrow biopsy, the doggone. Did I say the EGD already? I'm glad I didn't have to do the gastroenterology study again, but I go through all these invasive tests again, and they found the same results. So now I was like, man, I'm in this inpatient again. I'm going to do the same thing again on top of having a swollen leg. They had me in the hospital. Listen to this. They had me in the hospital and I wasn't able to bathe for the whole week and a half I was there because the lady was too doggone lazy to put me in the wheelchair and take me to the bathroom so I can get me a good old shower. I had to baby wipe that thing. You hear me? So that was rough. Those baby wipes weren't doing jack squat. They gave me the non-doggone antibacterial type. You try to TMI, trigger alert. You try to wipe and you try to smell just to make sure you got some of it off. Nope, didn't work. It's like almost like wiping your hands with doggone the KFC or moist towelettes. You don't do jack squat. So anyways, me having to go through all that, and then they finally put me on some medicine. It's called prednisone. Now this is what got my leg down, because I wasn't able to walk for a whole month before that due to my leg starting to swell out of nowhere. So now it's like, man, my leg is down, but I still can't walk because it's really hard. I'm in a wheelchair. They take me to a glorified nursing home, or in technical terms, a rehab center, right? So yeah, I go through the rehab. Takes me like almost 2-3 weeks to walk again. And I have to stay in San Antonio until all these appointments are done. And this right here is the moment where I kind of felt indifferent about the Air Force. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And if you don't like what I'm about to say, go ahead and click off now. But the person who's supposed to be my non-medical attendant, that's supposed to take me everywhere to all my appointments, had the audacity to cuss me out. He told me I didn't really work since I really got the Canon Air Force Base and yada 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 yada, and doggone, man. It's rough. It's making me half emotional just thinking about it right now. You've been filling up a slot, just filling up dead weight. Like, why would you say that when I'm going through one of the worst times of my whole entire life? Really, bro? Really? I wish I could have told him that. But me being a staff sergeant and me and himself being an EAE9, I just had to take it. Just had to take it. And that's the thing where I'm glad I'm out the Air Force now for, is that there's some things I just don't tolerate. In the military, you have to tolerate things that you normally don't tolerate. But anyways, after I got that cussing out, I went home mad, and that was that. Eventually got over it, but it's like, man, I was like, man, it's one of those things again where it makes you think for a minute. But anyways, fast forward a little bit to October, and doggone, they tell me the same thing. We don't know what's wrong with you, Sergeant Walker. And maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe this, and maybe that. And I'm sitting there like, oh, here we go again. It's like, man, they know I got gastroparesis, I know that, but what about my bones now, which hurt all over? You know what I mean? Do I have rheumatoid arthritis or not? I really don't know, Sergeant Walker. I'm like, come on, man. Now I gotta go back to doggone Canon Air Force Base and get crucified by leadership. I'm like, man, here we go. So that's exactly what happens. I go back to Canon Air Force Base and I get crucified by leadership. But it was in a nice way. But either way, I still got crucified. So after that happens, I thought I was supposed to be at the desk job for at least another few weeks, but as soon as they found out that there was nothing wrong, they put me back in a DFAT just like that, since I was walking around. As soon as they found out I was walking normally, boom, they put me back in the DFAT. I'm like, doggone, I ain't wasting no time. And it's like this. Mind you, I'm not at my normal weight. I'm still like 100. I gained some weight back, but I'm like, I went from 120 to 135, which is like, I was that like 14. That's all I'm talking. But anyways, nowhere near what am now, nowhere near where I'm was when I was in my prime. But anyways, it's like these people are something else. And I know I'm not the exception. I know I'm not the exception, if that makes sense, but it still just makes me think like there are people out here that's really nasty. And I don't mean nasty as in, excuse me, nasty as in don't bathe, or sorry, looking at my notes again, nasty as in don't bathe or doggone, you know, do nasty things behind closed doors. But I mean nasty as in mean, don't care about others, just, you know, kiss booty to self-gain and all this other crazy stuff that they do in the corporate world and in organizations in general. Nothing bad about the Air Force, it's just that certain people within the organization that make it look bad. Anyways, let's see. Oh, okay, I know where I am now. Alright, so I'll go back to the defect. Alright, skip a few days, no, not a few days, a few months. It's January. I gotta go back to San Antonio again for a 3-month follow-up. Same thing again. There's nothing wrong. Not exactly there's nothing wrong, but we don't know what's wrong. And I'm like, man, seemed like it was a waste of a few days. Yes, I'm able to walk again. Yes, I'm able to work again, at least to some capacity. Can't deploy because of gastroparesis and my issues. It's like, man, I need something definite. So they sent me to another doctor in Texas that's closer to Clovis, New Mexico for a third opinion. Yes, a third opinion. And luckily, praise the Lord for this, that it was free, because I couldn't even imagine what how much I would have to pay if I didn't have the military covering it. And I know some of y'all going through that right now. Some of y'all probably, you know, struggling like financially because of all these medical bills, and sometimes it ruins marriages. Sometimes it just ruins relationships in general. Sometimes like people get depressed and things because of that, because of medical bills that's out of their control. And I wish that the medical community can do something about it, so that us who's actually chronically ill don't have to go through that, causing more issues, if that makes sense. So once I go for a third opinion, and this one takes a while, I go for the third opinion, and now they finally diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis. It's official in my records, in the military record. They diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis. I'm like, finally. Not finally as in I'm glad there's something wrong with me. No, finally as in the doctors finally figured out what's going on. So now that starts the process of the military doctor saying, will he be able to stay in? Will he be able to do this? Will he be able to do that? And short answer is, because I have a beard, is no. So after about 6 months of appointments, me going to the Veterans Affairs and, you know, getting checked head to toe just to make sure if I'm fit enough to be in the military or not, because the VA and the DOD work together in the medical evaluation board, and there's a whole bunch of steps that go into that. And I'm not going to explain in this video, unfortunately, because it's very long. However, it is a 6-month waiting process at a minimum, because you can deny the results that they give you at the end. But I didn't deny my results because I was, you know what I mean. But anyways, once I got my final results, that was basically it. Waited like a week for the orders, and after that it was 2 weeks before I got out the military. And now I'm going to school to become I'm going to be basically a graphic designer. hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know this wasn't conventional, but it's Gastroparesis Awareness Month, and I have to do my part in actually spreading awareness. So just make sure y'all check out my other videos that's not related to this. So I actually go around to look at museums and, you know, ask people questions about like civil rights history and things like that. So I hope y'all enjoy my content.